So everything's going really well. You're past the midway point of the 1994 season. You're 20-some points behind Dad in the championship, looking like a real contender to win the championship that year. Had been leading the points at times. And you have a practice crash at Michigan. I've always wanted to talk to you about this. I've had a lot of questions about this accident. There's no video of it, not a lot of imagery or anything for anybody to really understand exactly what happened to you that day. Can you explain how the crash occurred?
I basically blew a right front tire. I was practicing. Larry said, let's make a 10-lap run and see what we got. And so we were making a 10-lap run. On the 10th lap, Larry said, the thing's not exactly right. Let's just come in here and work on it. And I said, well, I'm just going to make one more lap and just see what I got. And, obviously it wasn't going to change anything because that's where the car was handling. And it just so happened that I drove into turn one and blew the right front out and hit the fence. And I don't remember a whole lot after that, except for 21 days later, I kind of woke up.
So when you hit the wall, was it hit with the right front?
I'm 90% sure, yeah, it was hit with the right front. And the car was definitely hurt real bad, but not like Michael Waltrip crashing at Bristol.
Right.
It was hurt bad, but it was more hurt because of the things that NASCAR have changed now to make the cars better, and head neck restraints and all this stuff that had advanced after my crash. Well, actually, Bobby Allison's crash, my crash, and it just kept proceeding to get better as far as the safety in NASCAR.
What was the injuries that you had from that wreck?
I'd have to get my wife to tell you all those, but basically I had a basal skull fracture, and I had a collapsed lung, and I was kind of like drowning in my own blood because the basal skull fracture and things, and so they actually at the racetrack had to put a tracheotomy, whatever that's called, a trach in my throat to get it where I could still breathe. And it just so happened because Roger Penske was, way beyond his, everybody had, if Roger Penske was involved, it was really good. And Roger owned the racetrack, and there was a trauma doctor in the corner.
Wow.
And that's, I don't think that's happened all the time, but it just so happened. And that's where I crashed. And obviously they had to do a tracheotomy before. They got me out of the car and they had to do that. And one of the things that his name was Dr. Mano, and he broke out the stuff that he needed to put the trach in, and it just so happened that the blade was gone, and he actually, I think, cut my throat, my air pipe, with a pocket knife, and got it done, and obviously was able to continue to breathe, and then was transported to a hospital over in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
And they transported me there in a helicopter, and but I don't remember. I remember the night before playing Monopoly with Doug and his wife, and cheating really bad and winning. So that's what you're supposed to do when you play Monopoly. And little cards under the table and things like that. Yeah, how do you cheat in Monopoly? Okay, I did that. But I kind of remember doing that. And then I remember like 21 days later.
I always wondered, usually even in the most horrible situations, there's always a silver lining that sticks out, no matter how many bad situations, stack up. It sounds to me like that doctor being in that corner, which I don't know if it wouldn't be a fluke because, like you said, Roger Penske does everything, top notch in the right way. But is it you don't survive if that doctor's not there? Is that overstating it?
No, I'm pretty much 95% sure that I would have never survived if he wasn't there. That's for sure.
Mm.
So, when you came back to the sport and came back to the garage, you were wearing an eye patch over your left eye. What was the problem with that? There was some vision issues.
Yeah, when the basal skull fracture, evidently with the fracture, it kind of got one of the nerves that helped control the left eye, and so I was seeing double. So they natural deal. They put a patch on your eye, so you're only looking out one eye, and then also my vision out of my left eye wasn't very good. So it wasn't bad having a patch on it, but it wasn't ideal.
Let me ask you a quick question. Let me back up for a second. When you were in a coma for 21 days, is that what you said? When did it all hit you?
Well, I think I was in a self-induced coma,
right?
Because that's what the doctors did, just try to keep me from getting overly excited when I started waking up, and that's kind of what they do. Is what I understand now. I'm
just curious, when does the gravity of the situation actually, occur to you? And did you think that you would ever even have a decision to try to come back? At some point you had to have a decision of, am I done or am I going to try to get back? Do you recall if you ever had to cross that path?
Well, I knew that, I got hurt. I didn't know the severity of the injuries. With a basal skull fracture, most people die from that. And I was very fortunate to be able to have the right doctors and be able to, have them save my life. And, but I was in a coma, self-induced coma. And they always had the TV on, in the races or whatever they could, because they thought that could help me start, coming to. And the first thing I remember, I kind of remember that they were talking about the 28 car, and Kenny Wallace, and they were at Richmond. And I'm thinking I can't really talk because of the trach in my throat. And I'm kind of looking. They saw that I kind of woke up, and I'm kind of coming to and looking, and it's like, and I'm hearing that Kenny Wallace in the 28 car, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's my car.
Yeah.
Now I can say that I was real clear about thinking that, but I really didn't know really what car I was driving. But today, I think I remember that, man, it's like, my brain waves weren't right, but, something's wrong because I'm not at the racetrack.